I'm digging the shirt. That festival
Oh,
is is that the festival Incarceration?
yes. This
Oh
was
man.
from, I think 2021 was the year that we played, or
Okay.
22, one of the two.
Okay. That festival is one of my favorite ones. I went in 2019 and oh my God, like let's start there. Like for that festival, I mean, you guys are still a very young band and back then even younger, even newer. What was playing that festival like for you guys at that stage in your career, seeing just that sea of people at that location?
It was awesome. So we were playing on the CB Entertainment stage, which it may have been called something different now that I'm thinking about it, but owned by Chris Bianchi, who is the owner of Legend Recordings, which is who we have released all of our releases through
Yeah.
today. So, anyways, we were technically playing on like the smallest stage. So my expectations were, well, most people are going to be watching the main stage bands in the main area, you know.
Right.
So I try to keep my expectations low. But when we got there, like as soon as we started playing, like people started coming in. And I would say, like, two songs in, we had like a packed sea of people. So
Nice.
seeing that kind of change from like, oh, here's kind of like a stage for smaller bands, like, let's see if we care or not, into like, it seems like people were there for us by the end of it.
Right. Oh, that it's such a unique festival. Like it's there's nothing like it anywhere else. Like it's just that the prison in the background, the fact that you can go take a tour of it and like you could be in like a cell block and like there's a band playing at the same time and just walking those halls. Like it's I've never seen anything like that festival. It was so cool to go there. Like it's just so much fun. So,
Seriously. And I'm like so into like the ghost hunting and stuff like that.
yes.
So I wish that we had had a chance to like actually explore the penitentiary and everything. We were just like, in and out that day basically on tour. So we didn't really have time to just like
Right.
explore and enjoy. But yeah, I really hope that we get to go back so that I can take advantage of the
Yeah.
ghosts.
Yes, I love all of that stuff too. So when I found out that festival was there, I was like, oh, we gotta go. Like,
Yeah.
yes. But you guys are you're out supporting the new record, Body Electric. It's been out for a couple months now, about 4 months. And you guys were
Yes.
coming, I know, right? It's coming off of
That is
Street
crazy.
Magic. The Street Magic did so well. I mean, it was very successful for you guys. So coming off of that record, what was the state of the band like when you sat down to put Body Electric together, and what was going on with you guys at the time?
So like after we released the or released Street Magic, we had been touring nonstop, and pretty much as soon as we put it out, we decided to get back with Elvis and schedule some more studio time.
Hmm.
So like we already had the time set in place for probably a year going into it. So in the meantime, while we were touring, we were also just like backlogging song ideas, kind of revisiting some older songs that we had talked about putting on Street Magic that just we didn't have room for because we had only planned on putting 8 songs on that record. So, like when you go in with like 20, it's like you got
Yeah.
to choose the best of the best of the best. So, anyways, we kind of revisited some old songs that we wish we could have put on the old record. Obviously, we wrote new songs. Um, and once we got into the studio again to record the Body Electric, we just sat down with Elvis like day one and just played for him all of our songs, like just right there in the room. We had actually sent him a bunch of demos, and for whatever reason, like there was a miscommunication. It got lost in translation, and he never like heard or received any of our song ideas. So we walked in, and he's like, "So you guys got any songs?" And we're like, "Yes, a lot. Like, have you not heard them or listened?" And anyways, so that
Oh,
was kind of funny. But anyway, so day one in the studio, we just kind of like rehashed everything. And what we ended up putting together for the Body Electric is kind of like what we view as a best of Paralandra album, because it features songs that are as old as a decade,
Yeah.
all the way to like written right before we went into the studio. So it's just, I feel like it's encapsulates Paralandra over the 10, 11 years that we've been a band.
Yeah, and Give Me a Reason is one of those songs. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a staple of your live show, but like when you're sitting down to record a song like that, that the fans obviously know so well, that's one of your most popular live songs, like, do you put any extra pressure on yourself when it comes time to put that onto recording to get it just right, or is it just like everything else?
Oh yeah, we feel the pressure to get it just right. That's for sure. The cool thing is that Give Me a Reason actually stayed true to its original form. Like normally whenever you like take a super old song and then try to revive it, like things will change, you know,
Yeah.
sections will move, verses will be rewritten, maybe a new
Hmm.
chorus is written, stuff like that. But with Give Me a Reason, I mean, front to back, giant solo section and everything, like it all stayed true to the original song. So we thought that that was really cool that we got
Yeah.
to like record it the way that we've been performing it this whole time. And of course, Elvis was like extremely helpful in just like tightening up the little things that like we couldn't hear being like inside the music. You know what I mean? Having
Yeah.
that outside ear to be like, oh, you guys aren't quite syncopated on this section, you know, like let's kind of tighten up these parts or whatever. So having him there to really hone it in and make it like the most perfect version of what we imagined possible was really cool.
Yeah. Let me fix this here. That's better. There we go. That was bugging me. Well, let's do it this way. The music video is really cool as well. I like the way you guys did that, with a lot of behind the scenes footage. It looks like kind of old footage as well. I don't know if that's what that is, but it looks like kind of a journey taking the fans and the viewer through the journey of that song and the history of it, and then um, the shot of you guys telling the fans like we're filming a music video here, so you guys are in a video. Like I just love the way you guys did the music video. What like where'd you come up with the idea to do it that way?
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
So we knew that we wanted to do a music video for Give Me a Reason, and
Hmm.
typically we go outrageous with our music video ideas, and we go for a completely like not even song related storyline, just like you know fighting aliens in space or whatever we feel like that day. So whenever we decided to do the Give Me a Reason video, I felt like it really was that that live song, like you mentioned. Like we've just been playing this for years. It's been a live staple. I feel like maybe we should encapsulate like really the vibe of this song, which is, you know, it's like electric and on fire whenever we do this at our shows and people are involved with it and it's really fun for everybody. So
Yeah.
we always do like a really cool VIP event, especially at our hometown shows. And this last one, we decided to rent out a limo for our VIPs. And so we just decided like we would grab a 90s camcorder and just document our journey throughout the day leading up to our album release show. Um, there's like little shots of our sound check. You see that we're
Yeah.
kind of like not really in stage gear, but we're kind of
Right.
practicing. So you can kind of see like our day, how it kind of goes, and getting ready for the show, and then of course being in the show. So you can kind of see all those different perspectives and all the work and all the time and you know stuff that goes into making it a successful concert.
Yeah, and just the that show was packed. Like it was
Yeah.
full. And that's one thing I love about the Midwest. You guys are out of Missouri. I'm originally from Iowa, so not far from you guys. In Indiana now. There's just something about rock and roll in the Midwest that the shows are wild. Um, talk about just how you guys found the sound that worked best for you guys, because it's very just blue collar, a Midwestern American rock and roll. And honestly, it really reminds me of like if you combine Dorothy and Hailstorm into one band, like it's really got that sound, especially your voice. Good God, you're such a good vocalist. I love it. Like, yes. Who are some of the bands that helped you guys kind of find your sound and yourself as a singer?
So, like, my influences are, well, number one, Alter Bridge. I have been a huge Alter Bridge fan since I was like 13 years old,
Yes.
and my whole life ever since. So,
I can
um,
feel some Tremonti guitar like undertones in some of these songs. Yeah, yeah.
yes, I love Tremonti's riffing and like the
Yes.
soloing. And my dad, he's the guitar player in our band, and he's super and inspired by like Van Halen and all of these, like 80s guitar heroes, Nuno, Ingve, Steve Vai,
Yes.
like Satch, like all these just powerhouses. So
Yes.
a lot of these influences I feel like kind of combine and make this really heavy, really melodic, but completely live sound. Whenever we're performing, we're not the type of band that uses tracks or tries to make the sound, like tries to beef it up to make it sound like we're more than we actually are. So when you say like a very blue collar, like Midwestern band, like you really hit it on the nose
Yeah.
there, because we are naturalists and purists. And whenever we perform live, we're really just trying to, do the most we possibly can with our hands and, with our voices and with our feet, if you're Dakota.
One thing I think is really cool, like 5 million streams and views. Like that's insane in a world where like people aren't really buying new music, especially in rock and roll. Like you've got your exceptions, but like for the most part, like fans aren't buying music anymore. But I feel like the amount of views and streams you guys get, like that is extremely successful. Like that's just crazy. What is it? It's a really exciting time for new bands and up and coming rising bands right now. And you guys are right in the thick of it. So many bands just releasing new music right now, just operating on another level. What is it like for you guys being part of just this like resurgence in the popularity of rock music? I mean, you guys are seeing it up close and personal right now. People are going to these shows like crazy. 10 years ago, it wasn't this way with rock and metal. It just wasn't. But the
Yeah.
last couple of years is really taken off. Like, what is it like for you guys being a part of this like renaissance in heavy metal and rock and roll right now?
For us, it's been a very steady incline over the years, slow but surely, slowly but surely winning the race.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I think because like we've chosen to do this the grassroots style, where we just play shows and we gain fans that way. Um, Over the years, our crowds just have continued to grow and our fan base has just continued to grow. And that has just led more and more into the next year. And as far as like the streaming goes, I mean, it's such a small percentage of bands that will achieve 1,000 streams ever in their career. So the fact that like we're getting into the millions is like, it's mind blowing. I don't know how to process it.
Yeah.
But it's really cool. And it's really heartwarming to know that there is such a demographic and such a desire for rock music, especially right now. I think like with Stranger Things kind of pulling in Metallica into
Yeah.
mainstream and like making that character so like loved and such a main character. I feel like that kind of brought the younger audience like some more awareness into rock and metal. And I feel like that kind of played a little bit of a part of just the awareness of rock and metal music in general. So there's been like a lot of factors, and of course, hard work is
Yeah.
one of those huge ones. So
And it's just good music and authenticity, I think is a lot of it. I was talking to Brian from Fame on Fire about it yesterday, and he brought up a good point. Like 10 years ago, a lot of bands were just writing music for the sake of writing music, and it really wasn't about anything. But the last few years, there's just so much authenticity in the music that bands are writing and putting out, and I feel like that's what fans have been looking for so long, is just something that they could connect with and feel.
Yeah.
And ever since we came out of the pandemic, bands have really stepped up their writing and they've been writing stuff that people can connect with. And I mean, that was a hard time for everybody, but you guys were really starting to kind of really find yourselves when that time hit. How did you guys survive that time? And what made you guys decide to keep going and keep doing what you do? A lot of
I
younger bands would have just given up, but you guys were like, nope, we're not going to do that. Like, what made
there
you
was
guys keep
no plan
going?
B. There was never
There
a
you
plan
go.
B. So, um, but yeah, like during COVID, I feel like it was kind of the perfect storm for us because, as you said, we were kind of on our rise,
Yeah.
and there were being in the Midwest, there were a lot of places where COVID never came here. Like that's a literal direct quote for from
That's
some
my
vineyards
mom's
in
town.
Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Yeah, some these small towns, and they still were craving live music, and so we were still playing gigs, we were still booking shows, and of course,
Nice.
like we were going along with the COVID regulations, the 6 feet apart, like the mask type stuff whenever you're off stage with
The
which
stuff
we
that
all know
really
is
fits well at rock concerts, right?
yeah, yeah. Of course, we got some hate from some people. They were like, "You guys are murderers for going out there and playing shows right now. You were just literally make." Anyway, just it's like, dude, if you were able to go back to work, wouldn't you? Like, this is how we pay our bills. So,
Yeah,
and like people are
exactly.
coming because they want live music. So we felt like we were providing a very much needed service at that time, not only for ourselves, just for our own sanity, but for other people to be able to go to a show, sit at a table by themselves if they had to, but to enjoy some live music. And like you were mentioning before, excuse me, our songs are they come from a very personal place. So there's a lot of connection to be made, and a lot of ways that you can resonate with our songs. So, in a way, it was kind of the perfect storm for us to be playing these small clubs and these really intimate settings during that time to, again, just keep building that grassroots following and continuing
Yeah.
to keep the trajectory going upward.
Yeah, I am at the end of 2020, like December of 2020, I shot two concerts, and one of them was Saving Abel out here in Indianapolis. And one of my photographer friends was with me shooting the show as well. And she's like, whatever you do, don't tag me in anything. If people find out I'm shooting a concert during this time, like I'm gonna get so canceled. Like
Oh yeah.
I'm like, damn, I don't care if people know. Like,
Hmm.
it's crazy, but like you brought up a good point. Like, so many people I know, like, don't drop that may have dropped off their fandom. I'll go see, like, let's say Papa Roach, and it's always, oh man, they're still going. I'm like, it's their job. It's what they do. It's their like, you wouldn't just randomly stop working at Applebee's because you worked
Exactly.
there forever. Like this is your job. Like it's not a hobby. Like that's what people
Yeah.
don't realize. Like this is how you make your money. So yeah, like I am so glad you guys were able to find places to get booked during that time because like people don't realize concerts never really stopped. They were just harder
Right.
to find,
What's
you
funny is I don't know if you remember this, but uh it was Memorial Day weekend of 2020. There was this huge, like it made it on national news, this party in Lake of the Ozarks. And there was like this drone footage of just like this sea of people in Lake of the Ozarks partying on that weekend. And my dad was actually playing with a cover band at that show. And I was there, and I mean, it was literally shoulder to shoulder. You could not get through that crowd without bumping into numerous people on your way through. I mean, again, COVID
know.
never came here type
Yeah,
vibes. Um,
Wow.
and we got so much flack and so much hate for that. And of course, I understand like it was a time where people were getting sick.
Hmm.
But everybody has the ability to make their own choices. And come
Yeah.
to find out, nobody got sick from that event. Not a single
Really?
person. No one. So
Wow.
you got all these people out in the sun, like I don't have the science to prove whatever, but all
Right.
I'm saying is like, we definitely were getting a lot of hate, a lot of pushback, but as you said, I mean, it's our full-time job. I don't
Yeah.
have another job. It's either concerts or busking, you know.
Well,
So,
and you can look at it as like a lot of hate, but like that's also a lot of people talking about your band.
yeah.
Like it's a lot. Say what you want, but like it's a lot of publicity right there, one way or another. That people are like they're hearing the name, like they're hearing Paralandra, like they're talking about you guys then. And back then, not many bands were being talked about. So, like
Yes.
that's the like you guys like festivals. We talked about incarceration, but like I mean, Rocklahoma, Rockfest, Dirtfest, but the one that stood out, Loud in Lima.
Oh
Like
my gosh.
I dated a girl from South America for a few years, way, way, way back when, and like I've heard that South American fans are crazy when it comes to rock. Like, was that Lima, Peru?
No.
Okay,
I
that was Lima,
wish it was
Ohio.
Lima, Peru.
Was that Ohio?
It was Ohio, and
Oh,
it was
damn.
the
Well, I'm a
exact
fucking
opposite of
idiot.
what you
Well,
were envisioning.
damn.
This,
Well,
I
still
actually have to
though,
tell you.
like,
I
damn.
have to,
Well, shit.
I have to
I'm
tell
leaving
you
that
about this
in.
show. So Loud in Lima, Ohio, uh, there was like a main stage. Excuse me. Hopefully you can edit out all my coughing. Anyway, there was a main stage where like Jeff Tate, Warrant, Lita Ford, I think Brett Michaels. It
Really?
was Bullet Boys. It was a stacked lineup. And so we were like, oh, sick. Like, we are going to be
It's a
playing with
party.
all these huge bands. This is like one of our first festivals. And we're driving all the way to Ohio for this. That was a very
Right.
long ways for us.
Yeah.
Um, so we get there, and turns out we were playing in this like rodeo arena, like next to the festival stage, and it was literally just like a dirt arena with like two kind of truck beds like put together but not sturdy at all, and it ended up being just like the little bands, which was us and then maybe like two other bands playing for each other. Nobody at the main festival knew we were even there because it was so off to the side and like not mentioned at all.
Oh God.
And
Oh, that's
there
awful.
there was like two people that came, and that was this grandpa and his son, and they just so happened to be walking by, heard some music, and they were like, where is that coming from? And just like followed the noise and ended up making their way to our show. And we've actually stayed in touch all of these years. Oh, and there was another couple guys that were there. Sorry, there were four people that showed up. Um, yeah, there was another couple guys that ended up doing the same thing. They just like heard some music out of nowhere, followed it, and ended up finding our show in the middle
Oh
of this
man.
dirt arena. Um, and I actually ended up meeting him again, like years later, I think at the Monsters of Rock cruise. And he was
Nice.
like, "You are never gonna believe this, but do you remember Loud in Lima 2018?" And I'm like, "Yes, I do remember that. Why?" And he's like, "I was one of those people." I'm like, "What? No way." Anyway, just crazy. But you never know. Even if you're playing to four people, you might make a lifelong fan. So
That's
always give it
true.
100.
In Ohio, not South America. Shit.
Yeah. I wish we had played South America.
Oh man. Now I feel like an idiot. I feel so stupid now. Jeez.
No, no, don't feel stupid. We felt stupid.
Man, like your guys' tour schedule is packed for the next couple months, for the rest of the year. Like you
Yes.
guys, I mean, you guys are going all over the place, but like I've noticed, like you guys really make a point to really not specifically just play Missouri and like the area that you're from. You guys are all over the place. Like every state, like, and you're going out with some awesome acts that I feel like are just perfect for your guys' band. You just did some dates with Lita Ford, Vixen, and Lynch Mob.
Yes.
Which man, how much of a part are those?
Oh, they are so much fun. Just in, well, I guess it was second week of July, we were in Grand Run, Oregon with Lita Ford and Vixen, and that has got to be one of my favorite shows we've ever played. I mean,
Nice.
it was, I want to say at least 1,000, maybe a couple thousand people at that show. But just the energy was through the roof, and it was our first time playing Oregon. So we had no idea what to expect. Like, is this a rock scene? Like,
Right.
are they more into grunge up here? Like, I don't really know. I'm not sure what these people are into. Are they gonna like Paralandra? But they loved it, and we ended
Nice.
up being at our merch table for like 3 hours after the show, just talking to a line of people that wanted to say hi and to grab a CD.
That's
And
awesome.
if that's not a testament of what live music can do, I don't know what is. I mean, it was amazing the impact that we made. And then like you were mentioning the Lynch Mob show. I mean, dude, that was just a couple weeks ago in
Yeah.
St. Louis, and or maybe it was last week, I can't even remember. And like it was packed out. It was kind of like a hometown crowd because it's Missouri, so
Yeah.
lots of people there that felt like family. And then I got to go up and play Mr. Scary with Mr. Scary himself, like, which was crazy. So
Nice.
it's been really fun. Yeah, I love the shows where we get to play with, one of those legacy acts from back in the day, because those
Hmm.
are my inspirations. That's what I aspire to be like.
Yeah. I grew up on classic rock from the 80s. So like anytime I get to see like Dokken or, bands like that, like I'm so there. Like, man, this it's just such a different atmosphere than you got bands like Steel Panther that bring both generations and they're just insane.
Yeah.
But you've got a lot of dates coming up. I mean, you guys are packed. You got stuff coming up with Saving Abel, Scotty. That's going to be interesting. You doing dates with Saving Abel and doing dates with Scotty Austin as well, which I think is a
Right.
really cool dichotomy. But then some stuff coming up with Tantric as well, which you guys are packed. I mean, talk about what the rest of this year is looking like, because the record, it may have only been out for 4 months, but it's doing so well right now. Like people are loving the new music.
Thank you. I'm so happy to hear that. It is crazy that it's been 4 months already. That, like, when you said that, just blew my mind. I cannot believe we are already 4 months in.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I'm stoked to be on the road for the rest of the year. We have been like really hitting it hard, putting our nose to the grind, getting these dates booked, making sure that we're going to be busy, and making sure that like we're going to be able to promote this album to its fullest potential and its fullest capacity. Because I mean, if you release an album and then you never perform, or you never, go out there and continue to try to sell it, like it's just gonna, you know,
Yeah.
lay dormant. So
Hmm.
yeah, I'm super excited to be out on the road. We're hitting so many cities, so many states. I love to travel anyways, so it's just kind of like a win-win for me. Um, but of course, like playing with Scotty Austin, playing with Saving Abel, those are going to be fun shows.
Yeah.
Tantric, we've been touring with them on and off since like 2018. They are our
Nice.
family. So it's going to be great to be on the road with them again. And we also have more dates with Lynch Mob coming up being booked. So, I mean, it never stops, and we will never stop.
Please don't. Please don't ever stop. You are one of my, I just discovered you guys, honestly, when they talked about doing this interview. And I'm like, I love finding bands I've never heard before and just falling in love with the music. Um, I will never interview a band that I don't like what they do. I won't do it. And so like I was jamming to your music all day Monday, and then it's just so good. Thank you for putting so much of yourself into what you do, and for continuing to do what you do. It's really, really special music. So thank you so
Thank
much for
you.
everything, and thanks for doing this today.
It feels good to be appreciated. Thank you. I'm so glad you enjoyed
Absolutely.
the music. That's all I could ever ask for.
Of course, absolutely, man. Stay safe on the road. Have a great tour the rest of the year. Enjoy the release and supporting the album because it kicks ass. And I might have to make my way to Chicago in October. I'm not sure because that's right here. So that's
Yeah.
not far. So I've got to see you guys live. You guys are so good. I want to see the show.
Yes, absolutely make it out to a live show. I feel like that's where we thrive. I mean, that's what we've done the longest is play live shows. So
Can't wait.
it's
And
an
Cassandra,
experience.
thank you so much. And we'll see you soon. I'm sure we'll talk again soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me and thanks for your time. I appreciate it.